Hi guys, it's Mark here from Digital Groove Online. This is my first post on the free school platform, first video certainly, where I've done something off the cuff and dropped it into the community discussion board. I just wanted to come on and apologise for the lack of posts over the last lot of weeks. For those of you that follow me on TikTok or YouTube and things like that, you'll see that it sort of died off in the last month or two with regards to new posts going online. And if you've been watching my TikTok post recently, you will see and understand that I've been having to think about how I can grow Digital Groove Online, and one of the reasons I get into this is to sustain a full-time income, as you guys know. So I've been doing one-to-ones, which is great, lots of one-to-ones with people, and I've also started free community on here, tying lots of my socials in TikTok, YouTube, whatever it might be, in here in the one place, so that you can sort of recap on the things that are on different platforms without having to leave this area. But over the last lot of weeks, it got me thinking, because I'm at capacity now with regards to one-to-one students, I suppose, the guys that I can trade my sort of time with, and I want to service more people. I want to be able to help more people and sort of grow the brand online. And one of the ways that I thought about doing that was creating an online learning platform. So if you watched my post on TikTok a few weeks ago, you will see that I mentioned something about Reference Lab. So what Reference Lab is, and I'm going to take you through that in a second. And secondly, I've also created an app called Crate Digger. So I'm going to create this little bit of an ecosystem where I'm having one-to-ones and creating applications and creating an online learning platform. But you guys are the first to sort of see this being in the free school community before I start posting about it online. So Reference Lab, just off the back of what I'm doing here, just click on it on my website. For those of you that haven't seen it already, Reference Lab is where I'm going to take Beatport tracks in the house, trance and techno market, maybe something that's currently sitting in the top 10, and we're going to deconstruct that track and reconstruct it from scratch using original samples, original sounds, but trying to get that likeness. Okay, so it can be a little bit of fun, not just those typical make a track in the style of. We're actually going to take a track and we're going to deconstruct it, reconstruct it again, and talk you through all the decisions that I've made, from sound selection, mixing, sampling, what type of notation I'm using, what types of sounds I'm using, whether it's presets, tweaked presets, making presets from scratch, what I hear that's happening in the track with regards to automation and arrangement and all that type of thing. So it's a real good learning path for people who are either new to music production or in that intermediate stage that just can't break out of that 8-bar loop. So this is for you guys. So Reference Lab is going to be the online learning platform. It is going to be built around a paid school community, however, but off the back of that, what we're going to do, we're going to run competitions, we're going to do weekly coaching calls, I'm going to give away samples and little sample packs. Also, the actual project files are going to be living in that space as well, where you can download the project after watching ours, and this is going to be uncut, live, well, not live, but recorded live, off the cuff, hours of making a track from start to finish. A lot of what you don't actually see on these YouTube channels, there are very few people that do those start to finish tracks, and in particular tracks that you actually really like. I don't really see many people doing that. Now I have to be careful with copyright, so that's why everything will be built again from scratch. Obviously I can't build vocals from scratch, so they will be sampled out of the original track, but they won't be in the actual template at the end. However, I will show you how to take that from the original track just to complete that project yourself. But more importantly, the learning that you're going to take away from this hopefully is going to be very valuable to those who sign up. So you can go to my Digital Groove online website, and in there's a tab for Reference Lab, and you can sort of read down through this here and understand what this is going to be like. And if it's something that you're interested in, you can click on the waiting list and hit get access. and you can drop your email in there, and that will alert me as to for everyone that is interested in the sign up. What I'm going to do is, for the first 50 sign-ups that come to Reference Lab, they're going to get 50% reduction, and that will be lifetime. So as long as you're with the Reference Lab school platform, you will continue to get that discount for as long as you stay. Now if you leave and you want to come back again later, it would be full price after that, but the first 50 sign-ups that come through on email will get that at half price. So that's what Reference Lab is. This is what I've been doing, this is what I've been looking at building over the last lot of weeks, and thinking about how I can grow Digital Groove online and take it to the next level. So I encourage you guys to go in and have a look at the website Digital Groove Online, and then click on Reference Lab and just sort of try to understand what this is going to be like and what it's about. And if you're interested, you can click the waiting list, and whenever this becomes available, which should be within the next 4 weeks, we're going to send you an invite. You can sign up there, and the first track, I'm actually going to show you the first track that I'm going to dissect. Now I haven't built the project yet, but I'm going to show you the first track that I'm going to dissect. We'll come across that in a couple of minutes time. Okay, secondly was the application. Now let me bring up the application. This is called Crate Digger, and this is for the guys that have lots of hard drive space filled with samples, and they can't organize it or categorize it in a way that Splice or LoopCloud do. And simply the Ableton browser, whilst it is great, it doesn't have a lot of the features that I've developed in this. So I'll take you on a little walk through it. It's not fed through the master or anything on this OBS recording, so you won't hear the samples, but basically whenever you open it up, you can hit scan library, and we can then direct this to where your samples sit on your hard drive and try and keep those samples all within the one folder. Now I have, as you can see, 58 or 53,000 samples on my hard drive, which is a lot. There's lots of packs that you can see down the left hand side here that it's reading through, and it took a few hours to scan that, I'm not going to lie, so leave it and it will scan through it. The next thing it will do is it will try and categorize all the samples inside. So it will categorize it by type, whether it's a string, a kick, a hi-hat, or whatever it might be, the key, the BPM, whether it's a loop or not, and what packet sort of comes from as well. So it'll try its best to categorize that, but it won't always get it right. So I've built in features to allow you to categorize it yourself, and more importantly batch categorize as well, so that it can be done very, very, very fast. And just to give you an example as to what that looks like, if I wanted to, this is a saxophone loop here, and this is a saxophone loop here. So if I hit batch mode up here, click on that and click on that, we can update it by type, we can update it by key, and update it by genre, but we're going to update it by type here, and the list will come up with all the types that are there. Now saxophone is here, but if I wanted to create a new type, we can type in what it is and then tag it to that, and it becomes a part of the tags at the top that I'm going to show you. So click saxophone, and it's updated those two samples, as you can see there. Now what I've done for speed is I go through and type at the top, for example, sax, S-A-X, boom, and it will look at how the amount of unknown there for saxophone. It couldn't categorize that. So if I wanted to do them all, there is, how many samples there? It's a batch mode, and click on this and select all 258. We can then update the type, go to saxophone, and it's done them all as a saxophone. So I have tried to create these ways that make it easier for you to bulk update things that haven't been categorized properly within there. Now if you look along the top, we've got category, all, one shot, and loop, so we can filter by that. We can also filter by key in a similar way we can within Splice and LoopCloud. And underneath all these types, we've got our kick, snare, clap, we've got our musical elements, we've got our loops, we've got our vocals, and we've got other in there, so we can start adding these little types underneath here through that batch mode. If there are types that are not there, it will filter it under there, and that can be sort of a quick go-to. The next thing we can do is we can pick our packs at the side. So all the packs that have been scanned inside my library, I can categorize it to a genre. And if there isn't a genre there, in a similar way within batch mode, we can create a new genre. But if I want to do, there's some that I haven't done yet on purpose so that I can show you. There's one there that's a techno folder. If I hit select, we can go down to that techno folder and we can tag the genre here and click on techno, and that has now added that to the techno folder here. There's a Tidy Records one, which is sort of trance and tech trance. We'll hit tag genre and hit trance, and we can tag all those sample folders to a particular genre across here as well, which is quite cool. So if I'm looking for just a trance sounds, that I would click on trance, and all the trance sounds would be filtered inside here, thousands at a time. And then we can search up here if it's a kick, for example, and there we go, all the kick drums. And we can do it by key as well if you want to do it by key at the side. There is a drag and drop feature, so if I drag this kick here into Ableton, you can see that it drops it directly into Ableton, which is quite cool. The reason I developed this app is that I have a hard drive full of samples, and there's lots of great samples in there that I never use, and I find myself going to Loop Cloud and Splice quite often. Now that I've built this, I'm finding myself using my own sample library a lot more. Other great features in there are, if I can just go back to taking the kick drum out and just picking a random loop. Let's go with musical. Oh, see if there's any chords in here. So there's text tabs here, and you probably won't hear this, but I'll play it. Play that one. So that is sort of a loop of 4 or 6 sort of stabs, and if you can't hear that, what we can do is right click on that, and we can slice it into one shots as well, so it looks for the transients within inside that loop, I suppose, and it detects them and splits them down. And again, you can find these little one shots that you can bring into Simpler or Sampler within your DAW. It sort of works in a similar way to the slice mode inside of Ableton Simpler. We can audition them samples, and that's a lovely sample slice there, and we can drag that as well into Ableton as well, just creating one shots off your actual loops within your library as well. Something else that's quite cool is we can find similar sounds. So we click the similar sound, it will go in the background and look for things that are quite similar to the sound that you've actually picked up on. You can audition them, you can drag them directly into Ableton as well. So this is a quick overview really. I'm nearly finished adding most of the features. I don't want to overcomplicate it, I just want to make it easy enough for you to categorize, organize your samples on your hard drive, and make use of those samples rather than trying to find something inside the Ableton browser. And the key function there is really, really good as well. It lets you find sounds that complement the track that you're making and in the key that you're making as well. So at the bottom, I've called it Crate Digger, by the way, because I'm old-fashioned. I've got like thousands of records and vinyl over here, and back when I was younger we used to go in to the town and, you know, crate dig, I called it, for vinyl, little gems that were maybe not popular, and you find them in bargain buckets and stores that maybe didn't sell a lot of records, and you find these hidden gems, and we used to call that crate digging. So I've done this in a similar way, that we can find these hidden gems and these hidden samples within our sample packs that we maybe didn't see before. We can categorize it and we can filter on in here. When you find those samples, you can create a crate down the bottom here and call it like my favorite top loops or something. And what you can do then is we can drag any samples into this crate and call it, you know, my favorite top loops, and then all your favorite loops that could be in there, my favorite bass hits, or my whatever. You can call this whatever you want, favorite trance stabs, whatever, and you can categorize those along the bottom as well and create these little record boxes at the bottom and fill those up with your favorite sounds so that they're, you know, quick and easy to get to. So hopefully that explains where I've been spending a lot of my time recently, and it's almost at completion. So I'm going to package it up shortly as an installer for Mac and Windows. Get another couple of weeks testing out, get a couple of beta testers to test it, and then this will be a product that I'll be selling online, and it will be a one-time fee. It won't be subscription based. Once you own it, you own it. So yeah, that's what I've been doing over the last few weeks. So we've got Reference Lab coming soon with an online learning platform, and we've got this Crate Digger application, and hopefully more applications further on down the line. So that's what I've been spending my time on recently. Lastly, I'm just going to go into a project and let you see what has gone into a track that I've made recently with one of my clients, and this is the type of detail we're going to go into in Reference Lab. We're going to break the track down and recreate it as a reference track. And this is what his track sounds like at the minute. So yeah, so I've just finished that with a client this week, and he is absolutely ecstatic about how it finished up. The reference track that he used for this, and I remember this is not a like-for-like copy, but the vibe was an old Joris Voorn track called Sweep the Floor, which was sort of a funky, disco, techno-y style record. So whenever we're looking through, you can probably tell the arrangement works in a similar manner where it has a little bit of energy here, and then here it drops down. So what do you hear his? So the little vocal shot, the quietness, bringing it back down again, the little stabs in the background has similarities. It's a little bit more driving than the Joris Voorn track, but it has that disco, funk and techno sound in it. When we brought in this little vocal shot that's looped over and over again, just a little vocal shot that's been looped over and over that gives it that drive. We decided to go a little bit harder with this one because it suited the vocal style, you know. And in the bass itself is just a looped sample as well. I wonder if I cut that at the end, though I haven't. Yeah, so found a nice sweet spot in there and just looped it over and over again. It gives that sort of techno-y rolling sound. And you hear it with the kick. So quite cool, and it has those sort of old school disco stabs as well that you can hear, which he sort of had throughout his track as well. So that's referencing a track for likeness, storytelling, and similar sounding, but completely different, melodies and things like that, and bass sounds in the background. For Reference Lab, the first track that I'm going to actually take and break down and recreate is a tech house track by Max Styler. Vintage Culture. It's called Freaky One. I really like this. It was in the Beatport top 10 maybe a month or so ago. I picked it out and was going, that's going to be the very, very first one. Obviously, when we get into the Reference Lab forum and start building up members, I'm going to ask for requests. And, maybe in some of the coaching calls, we'll take a section and we'll do it in real time. It's pretty new, so it's going to be quite exciting. I'm looking forward to doing that. But this is the first track that we're going to break down.
That we freak, every time that we dance to the beat, every time we kick it unique, every time that we rock to the beat. That's that beat. Every time that we rock on to be a freak.
Really nice, interesting track to start with. Groovy, has a nice build, has a nice drive to it. It's a popular genre at the minute, which is making way for all the youngsters in the dance scene. So yeah, and I'm really looking forward to that. We're hopefully going to get through a track every 2 to 3 weeks, full breakdown, template, and all the rest of it. So every couple of weeks there's going to be a new track online for you to dissect. Lots of different genres, and trust me whenever I say this, even if this is not your genre style, the tech house, and it may be trance, for example, you can always learn something from other genres. It's important to, listen to lots of different styles and understand it, because it can make your music production arsenal and the tools that you have available to you to produce good music a lot stronger by listening to other tracks and breaking them down and understanding how particular sounds are made. Yeah, even in that little synth lead that's building up, it has this lovely analog wobble on it, and applying that to trance sounds, of course you can. So you'll always learn something from productions in there as well. So guys, that's why I come on today, sharing it with the community first as to what's going to happen over the next sort of 6 to 12 months, what I've been working on the last couple of weeks and why I've been so quiet online. Hopefully this has been entertaining enough for you. You understand the direction I'm going in, and would love to see some of you guys supporting it as well. So thanks very much, and we'll chat to you soon. If you have any comments, leave it in the video below. I'm happy to reply to that.